Howdy y'all, welcome to another edition of the Archeryshack Shop Talk. I am Jeremy.
I'm TJ.
This is podcast 90, the 90th week of podcast. It's been crazy.
It has.
We're almost at 2 years of podcast. That's crazy. So go back through them, see what you think about them. Hit the old thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. It helps our channel. From what I've researched, when people hit the thumbs up button, the majority of the time, and if you're subscribed and all that, it shows it to more people that hadn't seen it before, and it kind of keeps our channel growing and that sort of thing. So that's cool if you do that. We're back again. One thing we wanted to talk about was drop away wrist cord length. We've seen several bows in the past couple weeks come in that's tuning weird, and all we do is lengthen the cord from the drop away wrist to the bottom of the grip. Not just, we've had several come in and just go boop, straight back over, get it to the bottom of the grip, and it makes it fall. From my reading from QAD and research and all that, and just bows we've worked on in the past, it makes it fall quicker, and it generally will clean up a tear. An example is TJ had one come in Saturday, and that joker was tearing, I ain't kidding, a 1 foot tear.
It was rough.
So the guy ended up leaving it. TJ put a longer cord on it, and boom, y'all. It's crazy how little stuff like that will fix an arrow problem. And that's the other week. Had the one, it was just barely touching
touching the shelf.
I'm talking about, it wasn't even like full really contact, but it was hitting it enough to, it was bouncing it up and giving us a high tear. I moved that thing up a 1/16, maybe an 1/8, moved the loop up with it, kept it, square, bullet hole. The simplest little things on a bow, that's what keeps me interested in bow tuning, is little knick-knack stuff like that.
And it's getting to where a lot of them are like that, even not just wrists, but bows in general.
Just finicky.
Yeah,
A
finicky.
lot of high let-off, grip issues, just weird stuff. What do y'all think? This is a question for you. Throw your answer in the comments. We're seeing more and more people going back to the small diameter arrow with the outsert over it. The big bulky outsert. For example, the X Impact or the Deep Impact from Black Eagle. Great arrow, but I've just kind of avoided them because I don't want to shoot that big old nasty looking outsert over the end of it.
Me neither.
But I don't think other people care. What do y'all care? What do y'all think about it? I've been shooting some Renegades to hunt with, and it's got a half out, so it's just a little booger sticking out there.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. But them things, it's a 2-inch, 3-inch big old outsert sticking out there. I don't know. I can't get past it.
I can't either.
But maybe that's just me. Maybe everybody else don't care. That's why I'm asking.
The good question was to have a wrist sling or no wrist sling on your bow.
Yeah. I used to always shoot one. Finally, let's see, I think it was when I had that Supra. It would hit the right. Even me wearing it, but it would hit the riser and make me think something was loose every time. Finally, I just had enough and took it off, and I hadn't shot one since. But it is nice for the sense of security of not dropping the bow. But I can't think of a time I've ever shot a bow as long as 20-something years of shooting a bow that I've ever shot one, and the wrist sling did save me. You know what I mean? I was never almost dropped a bow that I can think of.
Yeah, I agree. The biggest thing is it's kind of like a little cheap insurance policy. Because you never know, especially in a hunting situation, you get in a tree stand or something like that, and you kind of at an awkward angle, or heaven forbid it happens, you're not paying attention, draw back, and you catch the deer stand with the cam.
Yeah.
It's pretty much probably going to derail and maybe warp a cam, but at least you're not going to drop it 20 foot down and maybe break a side or something like that. So,
yeah.
I still shoot wrist sling on both of mine. It's just, I've always done it.
One of the common problems we see with a wrist sling is people put them on too tight.
Tight.
If you get them real tight, it will torque your bow whether you know it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want it super tight.
The easiest way that I've been told on how to do them, especially on a hunting bow, is put your gloves on And you want to be able to just reach up into it and grab your bow. You don't want it to be tight around your glove. You just want to be able to reach in there and grab your bow.
And I kind of like the stiff ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like where you literally can just boop, and it's not like I got to pick it up, get my hand in it type thing.
Yep.
So it does, I think on a hunting bow, it does add sometimes to the color. Like I like it when we do, you know, a certain color string set and a matching wrist sling and matching arrows with wraps and fletching and all. It just makes the whole bow pop. But that's the designer bow. I didn't ever think we'd came to that, but it does look good. Like
it does.
10, 15 years ago, it was like everybody wants camo for the most part.
Yep.
And then I guess 10-ish years ago, everybody was like, can you do me an orange string with an orange wrist sling and orange arrow wraps? And like, heck yeah. And the more we did it, it looked good.
Yeah.
So have y'all got matching bows? Well, you can't post a comment in the YouTube comment, can you? I don't think. Post it if you're not in our group on Facebook. I will post a thing in a little bit and say, let's see your custom bow setups. Post it on there. It's Friends of the Archery Shack on Facebook. Just get on there and I think you got to be let in, but me and TJ, just as soon as you ask, we'll click it and let you in there. But get on there and let's see some of those custom setups, because I feel like green lately has been the most popular, followed by orange and red, and then from there it's just a toss-up. But I get so tired sometimes of seeing those three colors. I do like the occasional yellow. My favorite yellow was with that Harvest Brown that Hoyt used to have. You could put a flow yellow with it. It looked good. Yeah.
You don't see too many flow yellow strings anymore.
Yeah. But it's the same couple colors. I like to see the electric blues and the hot pink and the whatever. You know what I mean? Just something different.
Yep.
Fluorescent purple, that sort of thing.
Really, I can count on probably one hand how many pink strings we'll do a year. A solid pink one.
It's not that many. Not that many. And then you got your variances, the fluorescent red, which is really still just like a flow orange. But, and that sort of thing. I'll tell you what I don't know that we've ever really got into, and that's crossbow customization. I mean, we've made colors, but not been like, all right, I want matching limb savers and blah blah, bolts and all that. I don't think I've ever done that.
Well, with nowadays with like your Ravens and your 10 points, you're starting in the higher end stuff. You've got to shoot their bolts and their knocks, so it's hard to on the older, well, not older, but like on a Barnett or something like that. You could really customize it, and on this newer stuff or higher end stuff, I don't know.
Yeah. But I like the custom work. Turkey season's behind us. I guess our next season, big season's deer. It's not till September. Got a little dove season right before deer season. I hadn't really ever got into dove hunting that big. I know some people do.
I used to go all the time. I got tired of sitting out there in 100-degree heat at noon, and the birds don't fly to the last 5 minutes of shooting light, and I'm like, I'm giving this up.
But we got a little break. Probably most people don't get deer hunting on their mind until late in the summer, especially if sometime in August there's like one cool night or something, and everybody's like, oh my God, fall's coming, get your deer bow out. Yeah. And that's when the people get their bows out of their closets and the rats and chewed the string in half and all that sort of thing. But anyway, if you got bow work and you're local and needs to be done, or really anywhere, take it to your bow shop now, because now's the slower of times. Once July and especially August starts hitting, it'll go buck wild.
I mean, it's pretty much the last couple of years, it's always been probably about a week or two after the 4th, whenever it's started kicking up here. So, and I mean, I think we even said it on the last podcast. We're already at 3 weeks out now, and I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. Yeah. So
we try, but there's just only so much you can do. And I've always wanted to make like call it like the Completely Honest Archery Shop owner review. I don't know how you could word it, but like, if I made it, I'm scared I would piss a lot of people off. But like, you get all these tire kickers that come in wanting to handle everything and talk for 3 hours, and it's like, man, we could have fixed 5 bows in the time that you stood here and blew smoke. But it ain't that we don't want people to come in, but sometimes I get ready to pull my hair out, because it's like, okay, keep it moving. We got stuff, and I don't think Average Joe comes in and thinks, oh, these boys are just sitting here having a good old time. No, we see you pull up and we come out here to help you, and then we trying to get right back to it. But we ain't trying to do it in a whatever way to make you feel like we're trying to rush you out. I guess maybe that's our problem. But anyway, sometimes I get irritated. Not to customers, but when they leave, I'm like, but anyway. And then you got the people that want stuff done the next day, and you got 20 bows ahead of them, and it's like, well, buddy, come back here and look at these 3 or 4 racks of bows, and yours is at the end of that list there, and then let's talk about it. But people just don't understand. I know they don't understand. I just
it's
most of the time I can accept that. Sometimes I can't, and I get to having a kicking fit.
Well, and probably, and I mean, it don't bother me, but what really bothers me is the people who they know because they've been behind the counter at the archery shops. They've probably even helped at an archery shop during the busy season. But then some of them are the ones that want it next day, and they're like, and well, you know exactly what's going on back here, and you know that ain't no way, shape, or form possible.
Yeah. I think I might have told this story before, but I'll tell it again. Several years back, probably 2014, 2015-ish, a guy comes in the afternoon before hunting season starts, and he has, I don't know how many cut strands. It was a Matthews bow. How many cut strands he had, but his string, there's no way you could pull this back or shoot it without it exploding. I was like, buddy, at best, we're looking at 2 weeks, and that is absolute fast as we can get to it with all of the bows that are still waiting. And he said, well, what's your number? And I said, what are you talking about? He said, everybody's got a number. What is it going to cost? He started laying down $100 bills. So he got to about $800. I said, I guess that's my number. And literally, I stayed up all night and got him a string made, got it on there, got it tuned. Well, not all night, but you know what I mean. And had it ready the next day. And I guess that's the only time I've ever restrung a bow for $800. I was like, dude, for the money you've laid down, leave the bow, buy one of these $400 packages to hunt with in the morning, and then sell that bow or do what, you crazy. He didn't care, and I guess he had plenty of money. But anyway, people are out there.
Oh, yeah. But I guess that's where Amazon comes into play with all this.
Well, and I'm guilty of this. I mean, I love being able to order something and have it within 48 hours, and I know everybody else does too. But that's just not real world scenario in a lot of. I've said this for years and years and years. I'd love to be able to put a billboard up in town and, Archeryshack, outdoor shooting range, blah, blah, and then put, average bow turnaround time 48 hours or 72 hours. But there's no way we could, unless we had 20 people helping us that actually knew what was going on, there's no way we could physically do that.
No, I ain't.
But man, people would be excited.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
have it back to you in 2 days. Woo!
Yeah.
But anyway.
I mean, you figure, depending, let's just say a standard 3-piece set bow, from start to finish, you're going to have,
Well, we have an advantage because we make our own strings.
Yeah.
But even then, let's just say on average, you're going to have an hour and a half, 2 hours in a string set, because with our set, the way we do things, it ultimately gets handled by several people. But between, TJ lays it out and it stretches, and somebody serves it and it stretches, and blah, 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 and all this happens. So let's just say you got an hour and a half, 2 hours in a string set, and then let's just say another hour getting it on, getting it tuned, getting everything perfect, So let's say we're 3 hours in per bow average.
And that's on a good bow if it tunes, if you ain't got if nothing's crazy with it. If you get one with a head scratcher.
And then what kills me, I like to start a project and get through it and finish it. I cannot stand to start putting a set on and somebody comes in and end up spending an hour out there talking about killing Free Willy or whatever, and then come back and be like, all right, where did I stop at? All right, let me get going. All right, another phone rings, and then somebody's wanting to talk about why their Raven crossbow lost 3 feet per second, and it's like, good God, just let me get this bow done.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been plenty of days I'll put a bow in the press and start on it, and not even have it done at the end of the day between all the people and the this and the that, and the it's just crazy. But anyway, we need a reality show. We'd probably lose all our local customers, but I bet we'd probably make millions. And
probably.
Think at Bucks and Bass we'd have had a reality show.
Oh man, if we'd had a reality show back then, we'd be sitting pretty right now.
We had owners' kids stealing money, banging women on the cash register stand, and asking me to delete the surveillance footage.
Oh Lord!
People shooting their hand off with a bow, crossbows exploding. Good God. The owner shooting a 454 into the wall accidentally. Man, it'd have been like American Chopper, but sporting goods store.
Oh man.
Brawls breaking out between the family.
Brawls breaking out just because of broadheads.
Yeah. Fixed
blade versus mechanical.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Oh man, and
we talk about a lot of stories from there, but we probably don't remember half of them.
No, we don't.
We should have documented stuff.
We should have.
Anyway, if you've never worked at a sport, well, I guess retail in general is probably a mess, but this is even more of a mess because not only is it retail, you're working on people's equipment, and it's a bunch of rednecks. And we a bunch of rednecks, and
oh man, I mean, people get mad. I remember a guy got mad because we had told him he ordered a brand new bow. It's supposed to have been there that day. Well, I told him, just like always, we'll call you as soon as it walks in the door. Well, he shows up, cusses me out, and turns around and walks out the door, and it ain't 5 minutes later, UPS pulls up out back with his bow. Oh man, I told Dave, the owner back then, I was like, and he was standing there, and he let him do it. And I told him, I said, if he talks to me that way again, I said, I'm gonna put his teeth down his throat. Dave said, do it. I was like, oh Lord.
The closest I ever seen to Dave getting in a fight, this drunk guy come in, and we had for whatever reason, we had a used crossbow hanging there, and he wanted it. So I took him back there. We fired it a couple times. He went over to the gun department, got a sling. And he was like, he was hammered. Well, he was drunk. I ain't going to say he was like staggered, but he was drunk. Had a buddy with him, it was fine, So anyway, he's like, I want a sling for this thing, and when I get ready to shoot it, I want to be able to. And we thought he was going to throw it across the store, but he slung it over the top of his shoulder. He's like, I want to be able to do that. All right, buddy. So we got him a sling rigged up. Anyway, about, I'd say an hour later, he comes back, and the crossbows blew all to hell. You know what I mean? And his buddy that's not drunk with him was like, he dry fired it or whatever. Yeah. He didn't have the bolt in it, or I don't remember what he said, but we were like, okay, well, there's nothing we can really do for you. For one, on our receipt it says all gun and bow sales are final, which I'm not saying that if something would have happened, we'd obviously do what we could do to help fix it. But there's the buddy saying, oh, he dry fired it. So
and it's a used crossbow.
Yeah, it's used. So Dave was up there eating on a stool, and he comes up to Dave. Well, Dave heard what was going on. I'm telling the guy, we can try to find limbs, or I don't remember what all was wrong with it, but he's like, I want to talk to the owner, and I'm like, well, he's right there. He went up there, and Dave told him the same thing I did. And Dave was eating, and that guy got up in his face, screaming. And it was so bad that Daryl over in the gun department heard it. Me and Daryl go up there thinking this is about to go down. We ain't going to let this drunk guy start swinging. So anyway, Dave played it great. He just kept on eating and looking at the guy, and it was pissed him off even more. So anyway, the guy ends up stomping out of the store, and then about 10 minutes later, we get a call from the guy, but he said, this is so-and-so's lawyer. We call it, and Dave said, oh, it's your lawyer? He said, well, my lawyer is so-and-so. Get a hold of him, and we'll get this fixed up real quick. Well, we never heard back from the guy. Yeah. But that was that guy. Anyway, I don't know how I got down that road, but
maybe that's what we ought to do on one podcast is me and you just sit down and just think of stories that happened, and we can just rattle them off.
Yeah, we could probably make a little list and just be like,
yeah,
Because there are so many.
Oh man.
So many.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should probably get off here.
Yeah.
Sorry for telling stories and not talking too much boat tech, but we'll be back next week.
Yep.
And if you're new, we go live on Thursday nights, normally when possible. We have a podcast that usually comes out on Tuesdays, and we try to put out an additional video on Sundays when we can about a bow or about anything. So check them out. We appreciate y'all watching.
Yep.
Click that thumbs up.
See y'all.
We'll see y'all next time.